we're going to focus on Bitcoin here. We're going to focus on Ethereum. Obviously, we've had some continued bullishness, and now we're showing our first potential signs of a pullback here coming into the, the highs of the range. So what we're going to do is give you guys a couple of potential trade ideas that I see in terms of both longs and shorts for early in this week to get involved into some Bitcoin or Ethereum. So with Bitcoin here, we've been trading within this range for effectively almost 3 months. We had this big fake out at the range low here, and then we've now moved to the other side of the range. Trading at the range high, okay? And we're seeing our first sign of a potential pullback in the cards here. So if I were to pull up the RSI, I imagine we would see some sort of bearish divergence forming here if I had to guess. So this is the 12-hour chart. And as you can see, we have a bearish divergence forming here on the 12-hour chart. Does that mean that we are going to dump back to 30? No. Anytime you use indicators like this, they're just confluence for price action for me. If this lines up with what I'm seeing from a price action perspective, great. Is a bearish divergence enough for me to get a trigger on? No. The reason why is we had a bearish divergence up here and we went like $10,000 higher, right? So if you're shorting this bearish divergence on the way up, you're getting dinged, right? But when a bearish divergence forms on a high time frame, near a high time frame level of resistance, that could be something to pay attention to, and another little tool, right, in the tool belt that you can watch, right? So what am I seeing on Bitcoin here? So what I'm seeing is super bullish market structure has formed, obviously, since this deviation below the range low. So if you guys remember my stream from a couple weeks ago, I effectively wanted to see this low and maybe this one get run and then a reclaim to get long. And we got the run, but it just wasn't clean. Like I wanted to kind of get in on like a little breaker play and I just didn't, right? But it did play out. You had the up move that caused the run, reclaim it. That was my long signal that I missed out on, okay? So just on the 12-hour chart, you can see it. This is the candle, that is the breaker, right? So once we had this breaker form, which pushed price down and it took out a key low, and then it pushed back up through and started consolidating, this was your trigger to get long. Because what we had here is a clear fake out below the range low and a quick reclaim, and then boom, what do we have here? We have bullish market structure now on the H12. Now you could wait until this is here, this is here. Like you can wait until one of those clears. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, market structure hasn't shifted yet. Here's how I view market structure. If we're in a downtrend like this, okay, this is essentially what happened. And we had a bunch of people, this is your range low. We had a bunch of people saying, when has market structure shifted? Is it this high? Is it this high? Is it the one up here? We had people waiting. You get to decide what market structure levels are relevant for you. As long as you're consistent with the application of your rules, that's all that really matters. And so for me, the market structure level of interest was this one here. Why? Because this is the swing high that generated the most recent low. So when that high gets reclaimed, I'm now looking to long pullbacks to run these highs, because now I have a low, a high, and I'm looking for that higher low, okay? And that's exactly what we saw here, right? We have all of these lower highs and lower lows. This is the most recent swing high that generated the low. So once we flip this, which was also confluent with that little breaker right here, that is my signal that the 12-hour is now flipped bullish. So what does that mean? That means I want to be looking for longs. The 12-hour didn't give you any long signals here. I mean, you could, other than this one, right, the breaker, it's really hard to long these 12-hour candles because they're just straight green. You could have longed here, I guess, right? This is kind of like a pullback into this previous support, right? You could have longed as soon as we got through the quarterly open, but really the first 12-hour long signal was way up here, right? There's your order block, break in market structure. There's your pullback. There's your extension. And right there is a 3R trade, if I had to eyeball it, or pretty damn close. 2.5R. So that stop is below the order block. Entry on the pullback. Let's say you don't even get that sick of an entry. Let's say you enter right at the edge of the order block. Still a 2R trade. That's the first 12-hour signal that was there, right? And if you use your fib, it gives you everything that you need here as well, right? Came in, tested the 50, confluent with the OB, and then if we get our extensions on here, so it came back, tested the 50, right? It gave you the 1-to-1, and then it gave you the 1.27. All that is just based on the 12-hour, right? So none of that is based on any sort of low time frame entries that you could have sniped along the way. But the point I'm trying to make here, right, is this is when you knew to flip bullish, right here. So this is what day of the week is this? July 23rd on. I think your bias should have been longs. And I posted this too. I didn't long this, but if you go back on Twitter, I said, hey, once we close through here, I said target the quarterly open and mid-range, right? Then target the range high. So I had the bias right. I just didn't get in any trades, right? And that's okay. You're not going to catch every move. I did manage to get in a long from here to here, but I didn't get in any longs up here because once we start come up to the resistance, I wanted to let price kind of consolidate a little bit, give me a little bit of a clearer picture of what might be happening. So now we've ran the low, and we're now running the high. Now, the question is, are we going to do this? I don't think so. Could we come all the way back down here and continue the crab? Absolutely, anything is possible, and I wouldn't be surprised. But the reason I don't think we're going to come all the way back down to 30K here is because we've had this run of the high, right? Then we had this run of the low. Then we had another run of the low here. I would be very surprised if this move is just a deviation to take us all the way back down into the range, right? So what I think is much more likely is two scenarios here for Bitcoin. Okay, we have a key high right over here. I'll show you where that comes from. Okay, this is the monthly high for the month of July. Key high here, right? So I think this is your bias level. I think if we start getting back above this and consolidating, I'm looking to long into here, and I'm looking to long into here, which is effectively just keeping up with this steep ascent, right? And then maybe we'll have some sort of flip over here. Because I do think that we will get, I don't think we just go straight to 50. Like this floor, I think is going to be resistance as well. I might even like that level better. But those are going to be, that's going to be kind of the reason for me to get long. So I want us to hold the range high here, which is where we're at right now. I do not want to see us break this. This is the swing low that formed the most recent swing high. So if we're uber bullish, there's kind of two scenarios that I'm seeing, right? Which is either basically we come in here and it's happening as we speak, right? So here's your 12-hour range, that high, this low. We come into this 12-hour order block and we get a long trigger, get above July's high, and then I'm here and then I'm up into here, okay? Now, what is the bearish scenario? I don't even think this is super bearish. More so, we have our 12-hour range here still. I'm going to start using lines. We have our 12-hour range here. If we break below this range, because this order block has been tested here, right? So this order block now needs to hold for the bulls. So if we come down here, right, and then break below this, I'm now looking for us to get long back towards the mid-range and the quarterly open, okay? That would be the bearish scenario or the buy the dip scenario. I would be very surprised. And I drew this on Twitter like a week ago and I posted it. I said, give me something like this. That's effectively what I've just shown you here, right? Breakdown. freak everyone out, make everyone start calling for 20K again, hit 34, 35K, long the fuck out of Bitcoin, whatever else, Ethereum, the alts you want to get long, and fucking send it back up. And I think it would be an aggressive move back up towards, 45 to 48. Okay, so those are the 3 long ideas that I'm looking for Bitcoin. Basically, testing this order block now. Let's find some bullishness, break out, flipping July's high. So if we just come up here, put in some bullish market structure, that would be a long trigger for me. And then lastly, if this is going to pull back a bit because of that bearish divergence, the resistance that we have up here, I would love to get in a long somewhere down here like this, because this is quite a steep move, right? And we could see, a bit of a pullback before continuation, which is totally fine. It's not a bad thing. If we see a bit of a pullback, it's actually going to be a great buying opportunity because I think everyone will be scared. So if you pull your fib right in line with those areas that I'm talking about. So the mid-range is about 35 or 36. The quarterly open is about 35. So that puts us right around the 50. A really deep pullback would be down here. I would be buying this. So if we break this little mini trend line here, right, sell off below this low, I think you could probably get in a short. But these would be kind of where I'd target because I'm looking to flip long like this. So if you're a bear up here and you want to short, what is the setup? Well, the setup right now for the bears is this 12-hour swing failure pattern. So we have this 12-hour swing failure pattern here that's played out, okay? Broke, closed below. So that's effectively your risk, right? So any sort of short setup that you're looking for here intraday, if you're a scalper or if you're banking on this breaking down, right? You can either wait for some sort of move up to short, or if this trend line breaks down, right, and then consequently this swing low, that would be your short trigger. Stop is up there. That's the loose stop. If you want to get more aggressive with it, you need to see something happen first. So if we come down here, we do this, like that, then you could have a tighter stop like that, right? But for now, your risk is here. Because if we get above here, which is confluent with that July high as well, I think your idea is wrong and we go up more, right? So that's kind of the levels that I'm paying attention to right now. This is my little 12-hour range here. Right now, the range is bullish. We do have a high time frame div potentially playing out. So if we see something bullish in here, it might be worth a long. But otherwise, I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm going to have to wait and see if it gives me a short setup. Or if it gives me a long setup like I described, right? So give me something bullish down here, come back up here, flip that key level. Otherwise, I'm hoping that I get some nice big dip, right, to long closer to here within this range. And then obviously, give me some sort of trigger, whatever it may be. And then we ride this one back up into the highs. To me, the ideal short was actually the run, right? It was the run on the high. Boom. So, I mean, there's your risk, right? So if we get some sort of consolidation, a swing failure pattern or something, and then a break back down, you could probably short like that. I don't know if it comes all the way back up there. Maybe it does. Maybe we get some sort of push up into here above these highs, right? And if it breaks back down below, now you have a tighter risk. But for right now, the bears got a very clear invalidation. It's right there. That's where the bears are wrong for now. There's that key level, right? So if we come back up here, we consolidate, put in bullish market structure, I think bears get blown the fuck out. So it looks like the plan is going to be playing out right now to the potential downside here. We've got the pretty swift rejection off of the range high, right? And right now, this is looking like a deviation. So if we lose this swing low, okay, I'm looking to long down here, like something like this. Something between like 33 to 35K, I think is where I would want to look to get long on Bitcoin here. Quick dip below the EQ and a move down. So we'll have to see if that's still too early to tell. You have to remember, right? As much as everyone's like the doom candle, Goblin Town, right? That's what everyone said here too. And what did we do? We came into the 12-hour order block and we bounced, right? So we're into a 12-hour order block right now. So we have to assume that for now, this might hold, right? The only difference I see here and why I think that this more than likely does something like this, right? Like maybe like this, is because of this swing failure pattern at a key zone. The reason I like this SFP is because it is on the H12 chart and it is at a key level, right? But overall, this is nothing to freak out about yet, right? This is the area that the bulls need to hold if they want this trend to continue, is right here. Okay, lose this, then we're looking to long here. Lose this, everyone freaks out, everyone starts calling for 30K. Mayne and the homies get super duper long and we ride this to 46,000. Right? Because this was a big short squeeze on the way up here as well, right? So I would not be surprised to see some of this unwind. So let's wait and see here. We've got the weekly close coming up in about 26 minutes. So let's see what price does here. We've got that SFP that is formed right at the high, okay? So if we get some sort of setup where it pulls back up here and there's any sort of weakness here, I would take a short. The only way I would short this thing right now is probably something like this, right? And then trade that down, take some off here, take the rest off here, or if we, oops, I want that line back, or if we just continue to, sell off here, a breakdown of this key high time frame low, because that's that 12-hour low. So Bitcoin, we just covered everything, right? If Bitcoin breaks up, so whether it does this first or it just breaks up from here, right? This is where you need to be super cautious if you're a bull, right? Into here and into here. Could it go higher? Sure, but this is kind of your area, right? This is the point of the breakdown, right? And this is the floor of this entire distribution. So if we are to push up more here, whether we dip or not first is irrelevant. This is where you need to be careful because this is where we could put in a lower high, right? Could come all the way up in here, lower high, and then trade lower. So that's where you need to be careful on the high time frame. Right? This is a decent looking rounding up structure for now, but just remember, where is that lower high? That's the 50 right there, this entire range. So any sort of move up here, right? And if it rejects and got back below there, I'd be concerned that this is a lower high. But until then, we can play longs up here, we can play alts up here, we can have a whole big fun bull party, but you just need to be aware of what's above us, right? Just because this looks bullish, right? This could just be this before another leg down. People seem to forget that the market can rally in the bear market. People have very, very short memories, very short attention spans, right? Every single one of these pounces, people were calling for a reversal. Every single one. I'm not saying that we're going to do this. I'm not saying that. I would much rather it just does that, obviously. I'm just saying people always forget. It's very easy to forget. Oh my God, we rallied like 100%, right? The bull market is back on. These bear market rallies, if this is a bear market, 50%, right? They can be huge and you can forget just that the trend is actually down and these are just kind of pullbacks in a downtrend, all right? So just be careful is all I'm saying. I would love for us to fucking trade back up and just go straight back to all-time highs. But this is an area up here. If we start getting really crazy, this is where we be very careful up in this range. Okay, so that's my high time frame, just kind of view. So we're gonna look at Ethereum now. Not my cup of tea, but I do think that you need to pay attention to punks and things like that because they are based around Ethereum, right? And when Ethereum crashed, a lot of NFTs crashed too. So if you're in that NFT space and you're looking to get involved into an ape or a punk or whatever, you know, a pullback on Ethereum might be the juice that you need to maybe get into some of these things cheaper, because maybe someone freaks out and they need liquidity now and they need to sell some shit. So let's look at Ethereum itself. We've got EIP 1559 happening this week. I believe it's on August 4th. I don't need to be a rocket scientist. I don't need fucking, you know, a moving average to tell me that this move needs to cool off. This is getting a little crazy. So I would not be surprised if we see a candle like this on Ethereum. I'm still leaning towards Ethereum eventually trading towards the range high here. I'm just hoping we get a little bit of a pullback before that happens so I can get long. Ethereum effectively printed the exact same fucking move as Bitcoin at the range lows. Ethereum was even cleaner, right? So we had, this was our Ethereum range. It's been our range forever. 1, 2, third test, and it's gone. But the exact same setup formed on Ethereum that formed on Bitcoin. We had a breaker here, right? Here's your key swing low. There's the up candle that drove price below. We got back above. Now you're looking for longs on Ethereum. Exact same logic as on Bitcoin. Here is the swing high that made the most recent low. We now have a trend shift to the upside. So you need to be looking to get long Ethereum at this point based on the 12-hour chart. What do we have forming here on Ethereum? Nice little consolidation at the EQ of the range, above the quarterly open. This should have been a long trigger for me. Either of these closes. Close through here, pull back, close through here, pull back. You can zoom in on the low time frame, right? And you could have gotten an entry here, right? This is what I mean. If I'm bullish on Ethereum, I want to be looking for longs here, right? What are long signals? Well, breakers, order blocks, swing failure patterns. Here is your breaker play right here. There's your up candle below the low, reclaim, boom, near a key level. That's why it works. Here's your order block play. There's your order block right there, right? Move up, break market structure, pull back to the order block, confluent with high time frame support. Boom, right? Even on the lower time frame here, there's going to be a swing failure pattern trade, probably right within this little range here. Let's see if we can go find it. Right there, right? Swing failure pattern, stop below the low, never gets run, right? Swing failure pattern, stop below the low, never gets run. This is what I mean. First step, high time frame, where am I looking to get in longs? I'm looking to get in longs here. I'm looking to get in longs here. There's nothing for me here. Are there long setups there? Yes, but those are not my key areas of interest. So those setups that I just showed you were all within this area, right? So first step, right? Find the key SR where you want to do business. Second step, wait, right? Third step, zoom in. Fourth step, setups, right? Which are your OBs, your breakers, right? OBs, SFPs, breakers, all that shit. All that shit happens after this. So people are always like, is this an OB? Is that an OB? Like the most common DM I get, is this an OB? Is that an OB? It's like, what is the context, right? This is context. Once you have context, then you focus on this shit. Ethereum obviously looking extended to the upside here. We have a big news announcement coming in 3 days, in 3 days. So I would not be surprised to see some fuckery. So this is going to be our key level on Ethereum to watch. We've just swing failured a key high. Okay. So looking on the lower time frame here, if I were going to short Ethereum, I would be looking for some sort of breakdown here. Okay, so a trade below here, and then a pullback, and then a rejection. And then that's got to be your stop for now. So the stop is pretty loose. So maybe there's something on the lower time frame. You could argue that this is essentially your short right here. I don't love this trade that much because the stop is so far, right? I would much rather get in closer to here, right? Maybe this does this. I would much rather short here, but the bottom line is the bear idea is wrong above that high, right? The bear idea is wrong above that high for now. So we've got to wait and see. I wouldn't personally take a short on this yet. If you shorted the SFP yourself, great. This candle hasn't even confirmed yet as an SFP. In 7 minutes, it's a confirmed SFP, and you could technically be looking for shorts. Exact same plan as on Bitcoin here. If this confirms as an SFP, you could look for a short. I'd be looking to short into here, and then I'd be looking for a higher low to form somewhere in this area. I would do the exact same thing as I did on Bitcoin. I would take my fib, right? Somewhere around the 50, that lines up with the quarterly open. I think a deeper pullback towards like 2K, right? I would love that. I don't know if we get that lucky, but if we do, I'm looking to load up the bags. So the 50 line is right around the quarterly open. 2K, which is a key SR for Ethereum, is a very deep pullback. I'm not sure if we get that. If you look at the 2K level, obviously a very key level for Ethereum, right? Top became support, 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 resistance, support, resistance, support. So if we come back here, I think you long it. I don't know if we get a pullback that deep. And the answer for that question is going to lie within Ethereum USD or BTC, excuse me. So if you watched that altcoin video that I spent a bunch of time preparing, and I would appreciate if you watched it more than once. So I would love for that video to become my most viewed video. I think what's much more likely on Ethereum is a shallower pullback to here, right? But I am prepared for a deeper one. So let's see how this candle closes. Anything like this or anything deeper, maybe all the way down to 2000, right? We're looking to long Ethereum into the range high. The target is the range high. Any sort of bearishness is short term with a target of here first, and it's wrong above this high, okay? And so if you watch that video that I showed you guys, that I made for you guys, excuse me, I talk about the correlation between Ethereum BTC and Ethereum USD and BTC USD and how it's a fraction. Ethereum is up 1.6%. Bitcoin is down 3.3%. Why? Because Ethereum BTC is pushing up. So if this pushes up and makes more bullish market structure, right? What does that mean? Well, let's assume that Bitcoin does go up. It might go up 5% and Ethereum might go up 20%. And it makes sense because, as you can see, just relative to the range, we're already at the range high. Ethereum just broke the mid-range and is now catching up. So Ethereum's been the laggard. And that's because this has been putting in lower highs and lower highs and lower highs. So for the last couple of days, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin. You can see that in the charts. Ethereum USD is outperforming Bitcoin. Doesn't mean if Bitcoin isn't going up, but there are periods of divergences. And that whole video is explaining how you can use the ratio to time. Do I want to long ETH? Do I want to long Bitcoin? If we're going to have a big rally here for a few weeks, where do I want to have my spot allocation? More Bitcoin, more Ethereum. So this is the chart that you're going to want to focus on. And it looks like right now it wants to break out. You have to be careful because I'm not a trend line guy. Why am I not a trend line guy? Because trend lines can be retrofitted to kind of fit your narrative. Well, what if the trend line's here, right? Now it hasn't broken, but according to this trend line, we're already broken out. So I much prefer to look at market structure, right? And right now we made a lower low here, right? But then we had a nice rally back up, and now we're attempting to put in a higher high. So if we get above here on a closing basis in the next 2 minutes, that would be officially a higher high. And then we could potentially see Ethereum BTC go up. Now, this and this could both go down. Bitcoin could go to 34K, and Ethereum could go to 2200, right? But if this moves up, that means that Ethereum is going down less than Bitcoin. Okay, so that would mean that if you're shorting one of the two, you wanted to short Bitcoin. If you're looking to buy the dip, you're going to want to buy the dip on Ethereum. Okay, that's what that entire video was about. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. But yeah, Ethereum BTC, interesting area right here. This kind of looks like it's just lower highs and lower lows, right? But it could be potentially trying to shift the trend right now. And if it does that, it's going to start like this, and then maybe a move up, right? And then this could be a lower high, right? And then your trend line's like this. Like, that's why I don't use trend lines. We're gonna watch market structure. So we have literally like a few seconds here to the close. So let's just see. Just watch this in fucking hyper speed. Looks like it closed as a swing failure pattern. So technically, no higher high on the daily. No higher high on the weekly. So if this just rolls from here, right, we'll see. Yet to be seen. Too early. Gotta let some price action play out. You don't need to enter a trade immediately because the daily closed or the weekly closed, right? So no higher high technically on FBTC for me. But I think we've got a pretty clear potential top here, just short term on Bitcoin. Let's see how the first few hours of this new trading week play out. I generally don't enter a ton of trades on Sunday night. I like to see price, move a bit before we, start making decisions. Ethereum officially closed as a swing failure pattern on the USD pair. So we have a plan. So we've covered Bitcoin, long scenarios, longing the breakout. I'm just gonna do a quick overview, right? If we just remember, this is support here. So if we just push back up here, we're looking to long into there. You could technically long Bitcoin right now, right? You could long it right now based off of it retesting this 12-hour order block. So you could long it here, your stop would go here, your target is up there, right? You could do something like this. I'm not taking this personally, but technically this is a valid long. We're in an uptrend. It's retesting support. You could long this right now. Not going to do it personally, but that is available to you. What I would rather see is either consolidation here and then a low get like run or something like that. Then I can have a tighter risk reward to get along, or a swing failure pattern of this low would be how I would like to long down here personally. Okay. The breakout long, right? If we get back above here and start trading, putting in bullish market structure, right? Bears are wrong up there, you get long there. The short scenario is if we pull back here and then we reject from this level, right? You could get short, stop is up there, we're targeting into here. Ideally, for me, I want to long Bitcoin somewhere at or below the quarterly open if possible. Okay, so I want that big pullback, right? Break the trend line, deep pullback into here, everyone freak out, Mayne gets gig along with the boys. That's my ideal situation, but I've given you guys a bunch of different ideas. However you want to do it is up to you. Ethereum, it's the exact same idea. We have our SFP now, so technically if we get a breakdown here, a pullback could be a short. It needs to break market structure first before I'm interested on, at least on the hourly, right? It needs to break that low. If you go down to like the 15-minute or something, technically it's already giving you that bearish market structure. So technically on the 15-minute, your short entry could be right now with your stop up there. I think I would rather see it come run this high or something, or like back up to this level, but technically you could short it here down into here. Breakout plays the same on Ethereum, right? If we get back above here, start consolidating, I think you long it to the range high. And if we get the dip, I think you buy the dip. Where does the dip go? The first area where I'm looking for it to get support is right around here. The bigger dip would be to around 2K. I don't know if we come all the way back down here. That might be too generous, but definitely down around here, I'd be looking for longs. So I get, as much as I think it's dumb, I get it. Now that they've taken down BitBoy, He got sliced off of the internet. I'm way less fat. I'm way less cringy. You in the charts gotta be one. You gotta cut out all of that noise. Focus on the process and you will get whatever you want, I promise. That's why I spent stupid money on fucking Pokemon cards. And it's just him and a bunch of hot girls like on a fucking yacht, like smoking weed in like the tropics somewhere. This guy's saying he didn't ape at the bottom because of me. You didn't ape at the bottom, Elijah, because of you, bro. I didn't do anything. What you do is up to you. Grow some balls, man. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I am an admitted crypto boomer. I don't know how to fucking use technology very well. Do I think punks are dumb? Yes. Do I want one? No. Oh, you've got a sweet business. Why do you also own real estate? I don't know. Diversify my fucking income. Like, Todd, you're getting me fucking hyped up, bro. I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna give you one of these. And I'm gonna give you one of those, right? And it's gonna fuck your shit up. Okay, the chat is just kind of getting a little crazy right now, guys. When you spam the same thing over and over and over again, it makes me not want to read it, dude. I like to try and keep it as real with you guys as possible. You know what I mean? Fuck you, Todd. Suck my dick. Fuck BitBoy. That's a little secret Mayne alpha that I don't share with a lot of people.